Hello, 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 and welcome back to JenHannagans.
Jen, Hannah, two best friends, always up to something, and this is part two or whatever.
We're wearing the same clothes and it's 5 minutes later.
Yeah, so this is what's helping us to avoid our trigger foods.
We announced in the last video that we were going trigger food free.
Sugar-free addiction. We're dealing with food addiction and we don't know what we're calling
recovery,
it yet.
Yes, it's trigger food free. That's what we're going to call it. We're going trigger food free.
I can't say trigger food free.
Well, get used to it. Practice.
She's mean.
Okay, so this video is, so we talked about why we were doing that and all of that stuff. So in this video, in part two, we are talking about what is helping us to make our way on this journey to get started. What are we doing? What are we changing? So, do you want to start? You didn't write yours down.
No, I didn't. So one of the things that is helping me, I did not want to talk to anyone about this when it started. And then I realized I have to. So...
Well, she had a hard time admitting that she was an addict. Then she came to the fact that she was an addict, right? And then now...
And then there's freedom in saying, hey, I'm a food addict.
Like, this is what it is.
Explaining to...
She came like full circle.
Yeah, explaining to people that, no, this isn't just I have a hard time, that there's something more here and I've got to get this under control. Had to have hard conversations with my parents so that they understand I'm not trying to change their diet. Maybe eventually they will change on their own, but I'm also not saying they're an addict. My mom can have a muffin. My mom eats a muffin every single day. She stops at one. I could walk past those muffins every single day. No problem. Something triggers me, I eat a muffin. I eat the one muffin, then I go back and I eat a second muffin, and then I eat 3 things of Pringles and half a pint of ice cream, then I go get a pizza. I can't eat the muffin. So just explaining that difference to people, and having conversations with people at work, some of my closest friends at church, the ones that I'll be around with the social times need to kind of understand, but not everyone needs to know. But having those conversations helps me. Immersing myself in the podcast. We started listening to Food Junkies 3 weeks ago, and I'm on episode 44, and a lot of them I've listened to 2 or 3 times because I download them to my phone. I listen to them. I have an hour commute both ways to work. I work 8 hours unless I'm on a meeting, the podcast is playing in my ears. So immersing myself in hearing that I'm not alone has really helped. And then paying attention. I've identified several triggers in this time, and I thought I had a really good handle on what triggered me. And I did, but I didn't know them all. So paying attention and doing that, and honestly, I had to give it to God. Yep. It's not about me. This is me trying to be who He called me to be, and I cannot be who He called me to be if I don't give Him control over every part. And that means He is now in control of my food. And so if I notice that something is a problem for me, I have to stop with it. And just that mindset has really helped me, because there's a lot of things I don't do. There's a lot of things I don't partake in because I don't feel like they're healthy and I feel like they're against God. And so I'm just applying that same mindset that I've had all my life about other things now to food. So your turn.
Okay. When I first started thinking about this, we've been thinking about this for a really long time, a really long time. But when I really started thinking, what does this actually look like? I had to think, what does this actually look like? I had to look at my life and is this something that I could do? Because I'm the kind of person, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to try to do it. And so I didn't want to make the commitment and tell others that I was going to do it and jump into it. So for me, I had to put some thought into it. Hannah did too. What's this going to look like? And so then when we did kind of a little soft start, or what would our life be like if we did this? There was a church event, of course, where the devil hangs out. There is
Food and caffeine are acceptable addictions for Christians.
Yes, Lord. So anyway, there was a bake sale, and they were generously giving the things away that were left over from the bake sale. And one of the things was Rice Krispie treats with extra marshmallows, and that is one of my favorite desserts. Okay, and so I'm looking at this, like I'm literally looking at this, and like, am I able to say goodbye to this, like for good? And I stood watching it, like at the table, and I'm like, bye. Like that's it. Like it has to be done. That later that night or the next day, Travis made brownies, and I did the same thing. I walked up to the stove, and I'm looking, I'm like, and I love brownies. That's my other favorite. And I was like, can I say goodbye to this for the rest of my life? And I literally said goodbye. Like, I know it sounds weird. I don't care. I literally was like, bye. And so, and I felt like this sadness of like, this is sad that I have to like, that I'm in this place. But then there was like so much freedom when I'm like, I know that I no longer have to worry about this thing having control over me because I'm not allowing it in my life. And it was like setting a boundary for a toxic friend. So
we should do a video about the grief of saying goodbye to the sugar. Oh gosh,
and it's a true grief. So there was that, and then I have not done this yet other than mentally, but I am actually going to do it and making a list of trigger foods because April 1st, we're like, that's like our like date. Like
I said I wasn't going to say April 1st we're doing this.
Yeah, we've said that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not really, we're already in it. Like we're just using April 1st because it's our WW anniversary, whatever. But this, like I need to have an idea of the foods that are actually an issue for me other than just sugar. So I know it's like definitely desserts, but like there's other things. And so like having that idea of what's going to trigger me, what do I really need to stay away from? So that was another one. And then I don't want to look at like those desserts. Like I just don't, I'm just better off not. But also I can't do sugar-free desserts. Mm-mm. So like for me, the situation was like a binging issue. So if it doesn't matter, like my body's not going to register that, oh, this is sugar-free, you can only have one slice. No, I'm not going to do that. So for me, it's just better to not do.
I'm that way with Diet Pepsis, or Diet sodas. I can drink sugar-free syrups and coffee. Oh, by the way, Americano, amazing.
Yes, an Americano. Like, oh man, who would have thought?
Anyway.
It's our favorite coffee now.
We should, I can do sugar-free syrups and drinks. Like, I do Lotus drinks and the Americano coffees. I cannot do a zero soda.
Nope, I can't do soda.
I do a soda, then I get chips.
Yep.
And then I get...
Yep. Chips, Flamin' Hots, donuts. That's the line.
And figuring out that line helps me.
Yeah, exactly. Like knowing what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I can't just say, I can't do soda because it makes me want to eat. I know exactly what soda makes me want to eat. Yep. I know exactly where that's going to lead.
Yep.
So.
And diet soda is such crap for you. Like it's so bad.
It's not genetically. It's created in a laboratory to make you want to eat.
Yeah, it's just what it is. The other one, the short one, I have two long ones. The short one is the Food Junkies podcast, like just, listening to that and like really getting a good scientific understanding and knowing that this is valid. This is something that like abstinence from sugar, abstinence from certain foods does work and it is possible and you can live a completely full life. Like Hannah said, being open with our family and our friends, like letting them know, hey, this is what I have to do, which isn't super hard because we've been on WW, so we've kind of eaten different than everybody else for a long time. Like, so it's not a big deal.
It's amazing the number of friends that I've told about this podcast, and then they're texting me later, like, episode 3 had me crying. I just threw out I'm like, you just threw it out. You did better than I did. It took me another 3 episodes, but okay.
And then the last one is just looking ahead to those events, those holidays, those parties, all of that stuff, and kind of preparing myself. Like one of our dear friends makes a lovely banana pudding, okay? And I love it so much. But I'm like, I have to think about that because she's going to bring that banana pudding over and my family's going to enjoy it. And that's going to be something I have to abstain from. Am I ready for that? Like, what's my game plan? What's my dialogue? Like, so when Corby makes an amazing cake, like what do we do,
It's amazing because you're not the planner. I plan.
Oh gosh, yeah, no,
I plan foods. I plan.
But I'm learning I need to
things
through this.
So we're kind of flip flopped on this one, which is funny.
I want to know, I need to say goodbye to things in advance. I think sweet potatoes at Thanksgiving and certain things like that.
Not sweet potatoes,
not
sweet potato casserole.
Yes, yams, candied yams, that kind of thing. I need to know that that's coming. When I was making my decision, I'm like, is this something? And when we think about things like celebrations, we can still celebrate and not have to eat the cake. I know that we've said eat the cake, we're evolving, guys. It's just what it is. And if it works for you to eat the cake, then eat the cake. It's just for us, we've decided that this is just not. It doesn't work. We've tried to make it work, and it doesn't work.
We're not telling.
And life is still good without those things. Life is so much more than food.
Here's the thing about. Okay, first of all, we're not telling anyone that you're an addict. We're not telling anyone that you have to be sugar free.
This is just us.
You all make up your decision. You make your decision. This is what's working for us, and hopefully something in it works for you as well. Yeah. And I keep going back to the thing about eating the cake is if you're at a party and there is cake, people will notice if you don't get a slice of cake, but then they don't really notice if you eat it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because everybody is either eating their own cake or involved in whatever else is going on. I don't know why we made cake such an important part of our life.
And you know what? We're about to have a lot of celebrations coming up.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of parties planned. And I'm thinking, how do I get around the cake situation? Not eating it. I'd rather just not even have one.
Yeah.
So to get
but we're not gonna take cake away from other people.
What we do in the cake situation, since we're talking about cake, is with my family, when we have a birthday party, we get a tiny little 8-inch cake and we slice it up real small. And we still had half a cake for 15 people at the last party we did that in. So I did want to say this though, it may not be sugar for you, but I think that if you are on this video at all, then there is a food somewhere that triggers you. So that's why I'm calling it trigger-free foods. Trigger food free, which obviously I can't say either.
Exactly.
It's trigger food free. That's why we want to be trigger food free. Because there's obviously, if you're here, then there may be something that is triggering you.
There's something
maybe there's a food that maybe is not friendly for you. Yeah. So just think on that. It may not be sugar for you, and it may not be something that you have to abstain from an entire, like us, we're abstaining completely from sugar. But it may be something different from you. So just think on that. Think what is your trigger food? Why don't you let us know? What is your trigger food?
Something else that helps that I just remembered because you kind of talked about it is we have literally role played in our minds. What are we going to say in this situation? What are you going to say when you go to a family reunion and someone says, here, have this cake that I made from grandma's recipe. What are you going to do? So we're working on our scripting for that. It's no, thank you. And then they say, no, seriously, it's grandma's recipe. You got to try it. I want you to make sure it's right. No, I can't eat. I'm not eating sugar.
That's actually where putting this out in public is actually maybe helpful.
I'm not eating sugar right
friends.
now.
We're not eating sugar, guys. It's a natural.
As it escalates, your response escalates until you get to you give yourself permission about 5 or 6 times that you've told them no to get a little snarky, and that's fun to look forward to.
I'm not eating sugar.
Do you see how much I'm playing with this because I'm cold and because this is very nerve-wracking to put out there because I know it is. I know people have opinions.
Judgments.
But
it's fine. For us, this was a natural next step.
Yeah.
We were headed here. We've been headed here for a long time. We didn't want to admit it. We didn't want to face it, but we
talked about it. We've been like, I really feel like I need to go processed food free. Yes, that's another big one.
Yes.
It's yeah.
Which I've noticed that my trigger foods that are not sweets are processed
foods.
So it'll help wean that out too. But for us, it's just natural. It's not some whim. We've put a lot of thought into it. You know, it is what it is. So anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay. All right. Well, then if you like this video, then like this video. If this is helpful to you, then let us know. Leave us a comment. Subscribe and share if you have a friend who might need this. I don't know. Yeah. That's it. Anything else?
Let us know your trigger foods.
Yes.
Let us know if you listen to Food Junkies and what your favorite episode is so far. Also, we're building a library from books that they've talked about.
Yeah, we are.
You may get a couple book reviews. Oh, we should do that.
We should do that.
We're going to do that. We're going to do book reviews. We're just going to do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
if you came here for WW content, sorry, that's kind of gone. But if you came here because you were looking for food and weight loss, this will probably, I will say this, I was at a plateau. I've been at a plateau for a long time. I'm not doing this for weight loss, but a week and a half of no sugar and I started losing weight again. I was down
awesome.
like 1.5 pounds.
I had a flat belly this morning. I'm always happy about that.
It's amazing. So anyway, that's it.
We're done.
We're done. We'll probably start filming another video in about 5 minutes.
Part 3. No, we'll see you next time.